What's going on, everybody? How are you all doing? Day 5 of Eagles training camp is in the book. So, of course, we have a post-practice podcast for you guys, the Go Birds pod. And we got one special guest, and Tucker, sorry, I don't know if you count as special anymore, but we do
Is
have...
this like the blondest bod you've ever seen? Like, just
It really
in general?
is a lot of blonde hair. Some people try to tell me I have brown hair, but I just don't find that to be the case.
Just
No,
poor
you
lighting.
definitely have dirty blonde hair.
Well, I will say Tucker's hair is extremely blonde. Devin,
Yeah.
I feel like your hair is not like
Just a little
super blonde.
messy right now.
Well, my hair is super blonde when I pay for it to look
Okay,
that
that's
way.
it. That's what. Yeah. Amen. Amen. Well, also, I feel like Tucker, he drinks a lot of milk, and I feel like that makes your hair even more blonde. I can't prove
Okay.
it, but
Wait, can I just say really quick? Tucker and Ben Davis, who is a known public milk drinker, walk into the WIP trailer down at training camp last week
Ugh.
with he had like a thing of milk in his hand. And I'm like, oh, is
Yeah,
that
half
for
gallon.
coffee? I assumed he was bringing it as like creamer for coffee. And
It's so
Tucker's
gross.
like, no, I'm going to drink it. And I thought he was messing with me. And he's like, no, seriously. And Ben Davis is there. And he's like, I love milk. Oh, can I have some? And then he starts telling me how he drinks whole milk every day.
Ugh.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it in the fridge. I had to hide it in the RV because I didn't want anyone else to take it.
Well, it is funny, Tucker, because I feel like this was in the trailer, and you had just drank the milk, and you had like milk on your mustache.
Yeah.
It was
that happens.
classic Tucker.
Harry doesn't
cute
like that,
moment.
believe it or not. Like, it's
Gee,
just
I wonder why. Yeah,
it's just a part of living. Like,
yeah, I would
the
maybe
whole
not.
package. I'm sorry.
I would maybe not suggest that on your wedding day. Getting a milk mustache could be a funny picture, though.
Well, you know how
Okay.
weddings all have like signature cocktails. For a while, I joked that mine should just be 2% milk.
Ugh,
Like,
that'd be
imagine that.
funny.
Like, you go to the
You
bar,
could
and it's like an Aperol spritz and a little
And milk.
cup of 2% milk. Yeah.
You could do like a white Russian. I'm
Oh, here
sorry,
we
my
go.
dog is barking right now.
Look at this. A special guest on the pod, the dog and Devin. I didn't even introduce. The other guest is, of course, Devin Kaney, sideline.
Yeah,
reporter.
sorry.
I forgot to say your name, but yes, Devin is here today. Yeah.
I'm here
dog.
and I apologize for my dog Magic. He's very poorly behaved.
Hold up. Your dog's name is Magic?
You didn't know this?
No, I knew I could recognize your dog in a crowd from all the Instagram posts, but I had no idea your dog's name was Magic. Good name.
His name is Magic, first of all. Second of all, the amount of passive aggressive comments I get about the Instagram posts of my dog, I feel like I never post my dog. I guess I do a lot, but he deserves it because he's
Trust me.
Does he have his own account, or do you post from your account?
He has both. So I didn't think I
Wait, he
posted
has his
from
own
my
account?
own account. Yeah, he does. I don't
I
make
gotta
it public
follow him.
on mine because I don't want people
Creeping.
creeping on it. But you guys can follow it.
Nice.
Yeah, he has his own Instagram account. So I didn't think I posted on mine a ton, but I get so many comments like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I know your dog." I'm like, "Do I really post him on Maine all the time?"
It is funny that you're like, I really don't think I post him a lot, but he does have his own Instagram account. So I think,
he does, so I don't post him on my,
okay.
when I got him, I'm like, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, I'm a dog mom, even though I am, but publicly. So I guess it's not working, but he does have his own account.
So I was also like, when we got our dog Kingsley, I will say it's the first dog I've ever truly loved. Like, it feels like part of the family. And
Yeah.
I also never thought I would be one of those, oh, I wish I miss Kingsley, or it doesn't feel right. It is crazy how you do grow that bond with your dog. So just
You
a random
do.
thought. Yeah.
You do.
Tucker has a dog too. I would ask, but we really should get into the Eagles football
Yeah, no, he's sleeping down here. He's hanging
of it
out.
all. So yeah, Kingsley's upstairs with Kristen because he likes her way better than he likes me. But all right. So anyway, Devin on the pod, Tucker on the pod, and I'm here. So we were all at practice today, so we can all bring our own observations from what was obviously a super hot day. It does seem wrong not to lead with that. The Eagles were originally supposed to practice at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. The practice got moved up to 9 a.m. It was still really, really hot. I don't know if there was a huge difference, but you could tell the heat factored into the practice. There were lots of water breaks in between. Vic Fangio was asked prior to practice about the heat. He said being hot's a mindset, which I don't truly agree with. I get what he was going for. After practice, Jalen Hurts said fatigue makes cowards of all of us. And it was funny that on Monday, Nick Sirianni talked about the practices and the heat and said, yeah, we're going to have to practice in hot weather. And then he moves practice up an hour. So just funny timing with that. But to start the pod, I thought we would go around and each just say our main observation for the day in terms of what we saw, what really stood out to you guys. So I'll start actually just to get it going. But so my main observation from day 5 was I thought the defense really, really won the day. And I thought there were two series of drills that really highlighted that. So if you don't mind, I'm going to long talk for a second and just kind of go into the details here of practice. So
Long talk away.
thank you very much. So Tuesday was red zone day, which Tanner McKee talked about afterwards. And if you've never had a chance to watch a training camp practice, red zone drills are supposed to be filled with touchdowns. Like when at the end of camp, I tell you Jalen Hurts has 28 touchdowns, passing touchdowns. Normally, I would say 20 of them are from within inside the 20. Like that is just where touchdowns happen in training camp. And today they ran 2 sets of drills, 11 on 11, in the red zone, or one started from like maybe a little outside the red zone. But regardless, they were red zone drills where it was 1st and 10. If they got 2 yards, it was 2nd and 10. If they didn't, then it was whatever, right? It was like live football. And so in the first one, the first play, nobody was open. Jalen Hurts ran the ball. The second one was a Saquon run, which didn't really get much. The third was a short completion to Goddard. Then they ran A.J. Dillon, didn't get much. An incompletion to Goddard. And so in their first 5 plays that started at the 20, they only got 10 yards. And then the final play was, in my opinion, kind of a fake touchdown. The pressure got there. Jalen scrambled. The play was kind of dead. And he throws it to Will Shipley over the middle for a touchdown. So they do get in the end zone, but it just looked really hard for them to get there. It was not an impressive drill. And then they ended practice, the final team drill, with an 11 on 11 where they started in the red zone. And again, like it just was very, I hope I use this word right, like laborious. Like it was not easy. So it's 1st and 10, a run for Saquon that gets 5 yards. 2nd and 5, an incomplete pass to Goddard. 3rd and 5, Jalen runs, but it's basically not really a play because no one can touch him. They put him into 4th and 3. And he gets pressure. I thought the play was being close to being blown dead. They throw it to Will Shipley for the first down. And frankly, I think that they just let him get that first down because they wanted to run more plays. So they get 2 more plays and they don't do anything with that either. They have a run to Will Shipley and an incomplete pass to Anais Smith. So I asked Jalen after practice how he thought the first team offense looked. And that is actually when he gave the fatigue quote for some reason in there. But he said, the running game was good and essentially the passing game could be better. So I just thought watching today, the defense really, really won the day. Jalen finished 11 out of 17, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And I just thought on a day where he really should have had maybe 4 touchdowns, not because he missed guys that were open, but because when you're running 12 plays inside the 20, you should be throwing for more touchdowns. So I just thought on the day, the defense won it and the offense really didn't look to be in sync.
I mean, I wonder if the fatigue, classic Jalen Hurts coffee table book quote came from the fact that he felt that like he and the offense as a whole were fatigued. And that's why they didn't play their best. I also feel like Jalen Hurts has been doing what I know drives everyone the most insane about him. And that's when he holds on to the ball a little too long today. I felt like he was doing that a bit, but Eliot, I know you're the master of tracking this place. So I don't know.
Well, I am the master of training camp stats, but no, I mean, I think that's a really, really good observation. I think that's correct. So I gave Jalen a B- on the day. And the reason I gave him that is because he did hold onto the ball a lot. There was a bunch of times he threw it away. I probably, through the first 4 practices, I don't know if there was a single throw I tracked where I didn't have a target for him because he just tossed it. And he did it 2 or 3. He did it 3 times today. And that's more than he normally does. So I agree. He is holding on the ball too long. The question for me is, and I'm wondering if you guys are seeing something different. It doesn't look to me like guys are open and he's just missing them. Now, we don't get to rewatch these plays. We don't get to watch it from a super advantageous angle. But I actually think I credit him for not turning the ball over because pressure is getting there and it doesn't look to me like guys are open. So I agree he's holding it. It just doesn't seem like guys are open.
Tucker, I didn't know if you had something.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair assessment. Like they just looked out of sync, especially in those red zone drills that you mentioned. Like everything just looked tough for them. And in a situation where you're not really hitting the quarterback and he does have the time to move around and elude defenders, like there was one play I think he rolled out to the right and Jalen Hunt would have had him and he kind of like pulled up short and started high stepping and let Jalen Hurts run down the sideline and score a rushing touchdown. yeah, it felt the offense just felt out of sync, especially in those red zone situations.
Devan?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like there's only so much you can, like, so much stock you can put into these plays. But like I said, with Jalen Hurts, his biggest thing is he needs to get the ball out quicker.
Mhm.
I keep thinking about what Cam Jurgens said at the end of camp yesterday and what Vic Fangio said at the start of camp today, where Cam Jurgens was essentially like, offense hasn't fully installed, like, really anything yet, where defense is fully installed. So we are on uneven playing fields here. And no pun intended there. And then Vic Fangio today is like, what? Cam Jurgens said what?
Yeah.
Oh, no. We're still working on stuff. And then was kind of asked, are you and the offense on the same page in terms of like where you're at, in terms of like what you're working on? And Vic Fangio said, no, we're not. We'd like to be, but we're not. And to me, that just tells me, like, I just feel like there's only so much you can take away from what we're seeing from the offense. Because I agree, the defense has won the day the last 2 days. But if they're on totally different, like, wavelengths, which it kind of seems like they are right now at the start of camp, how much can you really take away from these past 2 days?
So I would push back on that a little bit, more from like what Cam is saying. And first of all, Cam taking a shot at the stats, that's okay. I still love Cam. He does make good beef jerky. You should check it out. But like, did take a shot at the training camp stats.
He did.
But like, I don't know. You don't get to play the continuity card all off season and how much this is going to benefit you and keeping Patullo and how nice that is. And then 5 days into camp, be like, well, we're still installing stuff and the defense is ready to go. Like the offense, yes, obviously there's more changes on the offensive coaching staff than the defensive coaching staff. But again, Patullo was supposed to bring continuity. And for what it's worth, the first 3 days, I thought the offense was better than the defense. Jalen was completing a high percentage of passes. He was making big plays down the field. It's really just these last 2 days where I think the defense, again, maybe they're throwing the offense looks they're not prepared for. That could certainly be it, because they do just look off. And I think they've also been getting good pressure. I get what Cam's saying, but I think Fangio's reaction says it all, where he's like, well, we're installing stuff too, so I don't think they get to play the we're not as prepared as they are card when all offseason the whole theme was supposed to be continuity on the offensive side of the ball. I just think the offense hasn't looked good because maybe you're right, Jalen is holding on to it and there's guys open that we're not seeing, but when they're in the film room, they look and the ball's supposed to be coming out. But also, I just think the defensive line has been really, really good over the past 2 practices, and that is throwing things off. So I think those are probably the 2 reasons. But I don't know, Tucker, what do you think? Do you think they get to play the continuity card?
No, not really. I mean, and I think maybe the one thing, if you want to look for a positive, is they don't seem that frustrated in how they're struggling. Like, they don't seem that upset. Jalen Hurts on those plays where he's holding the ball too long or maybe missing a guy, like, it doesn't seem like it's really affecting them at all, right? It seems like, I don't want to say they're going through the motions, but, if we want to talk about continuity and this team having a bigger goal than, winning the day on July 29th, they don't really seem to be that affected or that upset when things aren't going their way. I think their continuity is probably a big part of that as to why, they understand what they're capable of doing and what they can do. And I don't know, I don't want to say they've been nonchalant, but they kind of have. Like, they struggled and then they kind of jog off the field and get a drink of water and move on. Like, they haven't necessarily been a lot of fireworks on the sideline when things aren't going well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Jalen's always going to act the same on the podium. So, he hasn't shown frustration. But I would agree with that. I just think the last 2 days, the defense has definitely been the better unit. So that would be my main takeaway from the day. Why don't, Devan, you go first, since you're more the guest on the pod than Tucky?
Oh, thank you. Do you just call him Tucky?
Yeah, that's our nickname for him.
They're trying to get it to stick.
I kind of hate that, respectfully.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to pick that one up, but it's funny.
It's so funny because I think my phone auto-corrected to it once, and so we just keep it now.
It's not even the preferred spelling. If we're going to go down this route, like, it's not even the way I would spell it, if I'm being honest.
How is it spelled?
Well, you do EY.
Yeah, I do EY. I just replaced the R with the Y.
No, I pictured it with just like Y, Tucky.
But yeah, that's not how he spells it, though.
And then I think it would be 2 E's, because I've misspelled my name by accident a few times doing that, because the E and the R, they're right next to each other.
Yeah. Well, I got bad news for you, buddy. Tucky is staying. So So just
All
get
right.
used to it. All right, go ahead, Devin.
Well, anyways, we just talked. Well, actually, I guess we did just talk about offense. I was going to say I'm switching gears, but we gave defense their props, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the O-line. So I was standing, right near the offensive line because I felt like I hadn't really gotten a chance to really look at them up close during warm-ups and drills before they, started doing 11v11 at the end of practice. And Jason Kelce was not in the building, on the field, I guess, technically in the building. Once again, he's been around, several times throughout practice. And I noticed he was talking in particular to Tyler Steen. And I know that right guard spot has just been one of those kind of question marks. We assume Tyler Steen's going to get it, but you have guys like Kenyon Green, who's practicing now. There's a few other guys, coming up the depth chart who could compete for that spot. I personally been worried, or it seems more worried than a lot of others have been about losing Mekhi Becton, just because Becton is such a beast. Like, even watching the team out on the field, I miss Mekhi Becton because you could spot him from a mile away. The guy's the largest human I've ever seen in my life.
Which is saying something considering Jordan Mailata and Jordan Davis are on the team. Yeah. Like
exactly.
You definitely get a little desensitized to seeing huge humans when you cover the Eagles. But yeah, you're right. Mekhi Becton is still a guy when he walked by you, you would be like, yeah, that dude is it's a massive guy.
Massive, massive dude. And you can't teach that. You can't teach size, but also, he did really well for the Eagles last season. He was such a beast, covering them from the sideline. Mekhi Becton was, I think a lot of players, especially the O-line, experienced this, but he was in like clear pain towards the end of the season every time he came off. And every time it's kind of like, I'd look at him because you're trying to figure out if these guys are going to get carted off, if they're going to go to the locker room. And he just battled through. Same can be said, of course, for Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. But my point is, I think that they're going to miss him at right guard. But Tyler Steen had a really good practice today. Jeff Stoutland even said, he's been talking to him, coaching him up, and he's really been seeing, a lot of improvement. Tyler Steen told media that he took a page from Lane Johnson's playbook, literally was doing the workout regime or regimen that Lane Johnson told him to do, that Lane Johnson works on every offseason, and that's helped him immensely. And then Jason Kelce was there chatting with Tyler Steen. Of course, he's also chatting with Cam Jurgens, his heir to the center position. But I asked Jeff Stoutland, how helpful is it to have a guy like Jason Kelce in the building to talk to these guys? And he's like, it is incredibly important. And we're just so lucky that Jason Kelce is still family and still welcome, because even guys like Drew Kendall, the rookie, imagine coming into your first NFL season and you have a guy like Jason Kelce who you're able to learn from. And he said, Jeff Stoutland, he's like, guys get sick of hearing from me. So when I need another voice, when they need another voice, they have Jason Kelce to turn to really help them. And also Lane Johnson, who's been around for a while, said even Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata have taken on that leadership role with these younger guys. So that gave me a little bit more hope and optimism when it comes to that right guard spot in Tyler Steen.
So it is interesting how we all just kind of gloss over the loss of Mekhi Becton. I think it's a little bit because when they lost, when they've lost guards in the past, they lost Sayamalu, and then there was someone in between there. There had to be. Oh, I guess Cam. Cam was a starting guard. And then obviously they lose Kelce. He goes to center. They get a new starting guard. And I was worried last year about the offensive line. I didn't think they looked good in training camp. And then they go out and have maybe the best season an offensive line's ever had. So in terms of losing Becton and going to Tyler Steen, I also thought it was interesting that Jeff Stoutland said Kenyon Green is staying on the left side for now, when obviously the right guard spot is where we thought he would compete. But Stoutland did say that today. Now, he said it was because he's missed some time with injury, so maybe he will eventually move to the right side, but it doesn't seem like that's much of a competition right now. And it's always good when the coaches talk, because had Stoutland not talked, I would have came on here and said, I don't think Steen's having a great camp so far. It feels like
he hasn't been, though. That's
right?
why,
that's what I think from watching.
Yeah. Today he looked better. And I think even the fact that Stoutland acknowledged that is big. We can, have takeaways, but it is still July 29th. So I'm just happy to see some progress when it comes to Tyler Steen. Like you said, I feel like we aren't talking enough about that, losing Mekhi Becton. Of course, there are other position battles that are probably a little bit more on the forefront, like corner, like safety. Kenyon Green, speaking of, we lost CJ Gardner-Johnson, brought in Kenyon Green, who I'm at this point, is he even going to make the roster
team, yeah.
from the start of the season? I don't know. So I just think it's really important to make sure the guys that you had already on the team and Tyler Steen are like ready to go, and we feel confident in them. Because Eliot, like, remember you and I before last season talked about how Jordan Mailata didn't have a great year. I mean, no one did.
Right.
At
2023, yeah.
And then he came out and had a monster season last season, kind of proved us wrong. But we were like, I feel like we're not talking about the O-line enough because they weren't that great at the end of last season.
Right. And so
by last season, I mean 2023.
Well, and my thing with that is, so when we watch practice every day, to me, it looks like the defensive line is winning the team drills. Like they are in Jalen's face. Jalen is moving. And so part of me wants to say, well, that's not good. Like maybe Tyler Steen's going to be a problem. But after last year when the offensive line struggled and it was awesome, I just kind of lean on trusting a Jeff Stoutland offensive line and them ultimately being good. But no question, Moro Jamo, I think, has got the better of him throughout the first few days. Like even today, I thought Moro Jamo was in the backfield again. Josh Uche had a really good day today. He got to Jalen Hurts twice, and one of the times, it's hard to tell. It looked like he knocked the ball out of Jalen's hands. My advice to him would be never reach at Jalen's hand again in practice if you want to continue being on the roster. But the ball definitely came out. So either it slipped out of Jalen's hand or Josh Uche knocked it out. And I thought he had a good day. Nolan Smith didn't practice with the concussion. Hopefully, he's back soon and feels good. But Josh Uche got those first team reps with him out. I talked to Josh Uche after practice on Monday, and he is an impressive guy, and an impressive guy. Like you can tell, for as much as I think they need some veteran experience in that edge position, he does talk like someone that's been through the NFL, understands the business side of it. He has only had one good year, so I don't know if you can count on him to have a great year. But I did think with his opportunity today, he made the most of it. So yeah, with the offensive line, I don't think they've been great, but I hesitate to be concerned about it. Tucker, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just the Jeff Stoutland thing and the continuity along the offensive line, it feels like it's been this team's biggest strength for a decade, and you just keep leaning into that, right? I mean, outside of a couple injury-filled seasons, the offensive line has been incredibly consistent since he got hired by Chip Kelly in 2013. So, yeah, as much as there still might be a question mark there, I mean, there really isn't, according to the Eagles, right? Like Tyler Steen's gotten first-team reps every day in practice. Like they haven't really rotated anybody else in at that spot. So, I mean, as of right now, like he's on top of the depth chart. I think it's pretty much locked in. Week 1, he's going to be starting between Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson. And like, if you're coming into your first full season in the NFL as a starter, like there are much worse places to be than being, next to a Hall of Famer and someone who's, already an all-pro level talent.
I think it's interesting that we haven't heard about or talked about Matt Pryor a bunch.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, Tyler Steen, I think we're all assuming is going to get that starting spot. But guys like Matt Pryor and what's his name? Trevor Keegan.
So can I give you a quick side note?
Yes.
So I was not at Jeff Stoutland the full time. You were out there for a lot of it. But one thing he did say today that I thought is maybe a bad sign for Trevor Keegan is he was like, everybody has to have a special quality. Like when I close my eyes, I have to think what is unique and special about that player. And I think you can go down the list of Eagles offensive linemen and say one for almost all of them. I don't know what the Trevor Keegan unique quality is. I'm not saying he doesn't have it. I wish I would have been there to ask Stoutland that. But that I don't know if Trevor Keegan's going to make the roster is kind of my like long talk way of going about that is I think other players on the roster have more unique qualities. And I don't know what Keegan's unique quality is.
See that? I mean, I don't think you're wrong. And that's a good point. That's kind of how I feel about Tyler Steen, which is why he intrigues me. And like, I feel like this is probably the most I've talked and we've talked about.
You don't think he has a unique?
What makes him unique? Mekhi Becton was a giant human and he had that size and he's still a good athlete. But like, I just don't know something unique about anyone who's up for that right guard position.
So I would agree with you that like what I would consider unique, I don't think Tyler Steen has any unique qualities. He's not super big. I don't think he's super fast. His arms aren't super long. Like, I don't think there's any physical thing that's really stands out about him. My guess is what the Eagles would tell you is he has like super strong lower half and it really allows him to anchor, like is probably what they would tell you. Now, I don't consider that a super unique thing, but I'm not the best offensive line coach of all time like Jeff Stoutland is, so maybe he would. But no, you're right. I don't think Steen has any like super unique physical ability. But when you bring up Matt Pryor, yeah, I think he's Steen's biggest competition without question. But I think it's going to be Steen. Like, I think Nick Sirianni can pretend that it's a competition. It's not a competition, like, at all. So I think it'll definitely be Steen. Anything else on the offensive line before we move on?
No.
Sounds like a no.
So.
All right. Tucker, what's your observation?
I mean, just how much the heat kind of affected practice for everybody today. Like, not just us standing out there on the sideline, although I think we were affected.
We were,
but
well, not the tennis.
The players too. Yeah. I mean, we can talk about that later. But yeah. I just think things were a little chippier in practice. There's more emotion in practice today, like individual drills. Reed Blankenship and Brandon Johnson, right? That defensive back. They got kind of tangled up on a one-on-one individual drill and had to be separated.
Really? So wait, go more into that because I missed that. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I did not see that either.
So they were just doing like a one-on-one. Brandon Johnson basically running like a switch route, and Reed had to follow him. And they got kind of tangled up, and Reed started yelling at him, and he started yelling back. Actually, like, was taking pictures at the time and got pictures of it. While it was happening. So maybe that becomes the thumbnail for this pod. We'll see how it goes.
You should text it to me and Devan right now so that we can react to it in real time. But go ahead.
But so, I mean, that happened. Jordan Mailata seemed to really be laboring, which is, you know, for someone from Australia, like, you would think they would be able to handle the heat a little bit better, but he seemed to be like coming over to the sideline, kind of grabbing his stomach quite a bit. AJ Brown seemed particularly miserable today. In between reps and stuff, like just in general, it seemed like everyone's emotions were a little bit higher and maybe just a little bit more miserable. And I don't know if that's the heat or the fact this was also their first padded practice, and you know they were putting in just a little bit more effort.
So the Jordan Mailata thing, let me expound on that a little bit because we were both right there, but I was like right there as Jordan. So he came off the field. His shirt must have been ripped by like getting held or something because he was pretty miserable. And like he walks off, he's getting all types of like ice and stuff put on him. But then he walks by himself to a far corner of the end zone, just kind of stands there and watches practice and is like kind of catching his breath, I would say, and then walks all the way back to the sideline where the rest of the players are. So I think it was a couple of things with him, and I'm just guessing here. I didn't have a chance to really talk to him that long after practice, but like, one, I think he was really, really hot, and that's obviously understandable. He's a massive human that just worked out in, you know, basically 100-degree weather. I also sense like a little maybe frustration from him, and maybe that's just my opinion of how the offense played being projected onto him. But Jordan, I know, is really, really embraced like wanting to be a leader of setting the standards for the Eagles, especially now that Kelsey's gone and like Fletcher's gone, Brandon Graham's gone. And I will say too, I think you can feel Brandon's absence. There's not as much trash talking. You don't hear him in 11-on-11s like you used to. But I wonder if Jordan was just frustrated with how the day went because he just seemed very put out, I would say. And it could have just been heat, but it also could have been this happened after that stretch where the offense didn't get in the end zone. So, yeah, I noticed that. And then to the Heat overall, like, yeah, it was really, really hot out there. Like, there's no other way to say it. I do think they pushed through. Jalen talked about the benefits of that. But I think the heat was definitely, you know, part of like the chippiness of practice.
I mean, I can say even just like the media, you guys touched on, like standing out there, you get a little like I don't know the word. I was gonna say anxious, aggressive.
I thought you were gonna say dizzy. Cranky.
Like, yeah, I feel like vibes were like by the end of the day or morning, I should say. I feel like everyone's kind of like ready to go home because standing out in the heat, it's exhausting. And these guys are out there in full pads.
Yeah, everyone's definitely tired for sure. I feel like I was at the very end, like I'll just sit here and wait for Jalen's presser in the shaded tent. But the other thing I noticed from Reed Blankenship today, and you talk about like hitting, they were hitting more than I expected. So in past years where they've put the pads on, it has kind of been, yeah, the starters have the pads on, but they're not actually going to hit. It's more going to be a light thud, and then the backups trying to make the team are going to tackle, and they are going to be the ones that really kind of play real football with tackling. the first team was hitting today. Like Jahad Campbell, and this would be another takeaway of mine from practice. It's starting to become impossible not to see Jahad Campbell stand out during practice. When you watch him out there, physically, first of all, you want to talk about big humans. When he is out on the field with that first team defense, it looks like they're lining Jalix Hunt up at linebacker. Like
Remember yesterday I said to you, I think both of you guys were standing next to me, and I was like, Jahad Campbell's massive. Like he stands out on the field. You can always spot him on the field. He's a giant dude.
He's got super long arms, super long legs. He actually has, not to like go much into describing his body, but like he kind of has a small torso, if that makes sense. Like he is all limbs, right? And you can see how that translates to being an impact player. So today, he got the first team reps because Zach Bond didn't practice due to a back contusion. And on one running play, it was like kind of a, run to Saquon to the left sideline. And now they're not tackling, but like Jahad got up on Saquon and like fully wrapped him up. And in a game, I think we would have watched that and said, wow, he really read that run correctly, got there and made the play on what could have been a big gain. So that really stood out about him. And then he also had, I thought, a somewhat aggressive hit on Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert catches a short pass. Jahad is right there, hits him, and sends Goedert to the ground. Like sending Goedert to the ground is not an easy task to do. Goedert is one of the, if not the most physical tight end in the league, he certainly is up there. And Jahad just like matched him and sent him to the ground. So on a day where he got first team reps and on a day where he had a chance to really kind of like show what he could do, I thought physically he did well, but also mentally, he does not look lost out there. Like he is around the ball all the time, which is what you want from any player, but especially a linebacker, because I think it shows he knows what he's looking at and he's getting there. So I thought Jahad really stood out, and he kind of brought a physicalness to the defense that could only happen with the pads on.
On that note, because I saw your post, Eliot, about, Reed Blankenship bringing Saquon to the ground. And of course, it's like, don't touch him, keep him healthy. Yeah. But this is my first full training camp covering, the Eagles through camp as a sideline reporter, where like I've been down there, of course, with the morning show and WIP's down there. So I haven't been as locked in as I am now on like keeping up with the injuries, who's in and who's out. And I know, Eliot, I heard you had some really interesting stats when you were on the afternoon show yesterday. I actually meant to text you about it, where it started because they were talking about, the Cam Jurgens stats don't matter, whatever comment yesterday. But your note about the amount of reps that they've taken and how it's increased kind of each year, especially under Vic Fangio. Is this a normal amount of, and I know that some of them aren't injuries per se, it could be soreness, it's like more preventative, but is this a normal amount? Because even Terrace Marshall walked off the field today and went to the medical tent. Like, do you worry that maybe they're pushing these guys a little too hard too early?
It's a good question. So my gut instinct from watching practice is I don't think they're pushing them too hard too early. It does feel to me like a normal start to training camp. Now, a normal start to training camp with Vic Fangio here, like when they are, and I can try to pull this up, but like if you look at the reps they take in practice. So last year in 2024 training camp, through 4 practices, they had 113 reps. In 2023, they had 92. And in 2022, they had 86. So from 2022 to 2024, they almost jumped that by almost 40 reps. That's not like completely, I guess it wouldn't be 40, but it would be like 30 reps, right? That's a lot. That's a lot of reps over 4 practices. That's 10 more team drills, roughly, or a little less over each practice. So I don't think so. Through 4 practices, so not including today. So they were at 117 reps through 4 practices. Jalen took 32 reps today, so that would be 149 off the top of my head. So it's a lot. Now, in terms of the injuries, the amount of back problems they're having is a little weird. Like Devontae has a back problem. Zach Bond has a back problem. So that stands out a little bit, but no, I don't think there's more injuries than normal. The concussion to Nolan Smith, you never want to see that. That is obviously a physical injury where he clearly hit his head. But no, I guess I probably wouldn't say it's more than normal. But they are definitely taking more team reps than they have in past years.
Which I'm okay with because I know before Vic got here, and I don't know if I think he certainly has a lot to do with it, but like I know a big complaint was they weren't practicing hard enough. And I think Jordan Mailata, a lot of the players kind of echoed this, but Jordan Mailata, especially last season, in like what was working for them was, well, if we work really hard together and we're miserable together, that just makes us closer as a team. And, they've said it again throughout this training camp. So I do think that there's logic to that. Like you mentioned, the amount of back soreness, contusions, concussion, Makuba's shoulder, like it just seems like it's kind of adding up and it's getting a little concerning to me.
So Makuba did not practice on Tuesday. Second straight day he's missed with the shoulder injury. The Eagles don't practice on Wednesday. We'll see if he's out on the field on Thursday when they come back. Now, you want to talk about one extreme to the other. It's supposed to pour all day Thursday, so we'll see what they end up doing. But yeah, Makuba not there. Sidney Brown got all of the first team reps, I'm pretty sure. Vic Fangio actually said some good things about him in the press conference before practice. So I don't know how he graded him out from Tuesday's practice, but he said that Sidney, what I thought was interesting was Sidney's expected to play for us this year, which was like maybe a little insight into what he's thinking. But I still really think they need to trade for a safety.
You don't?
No, I do. I think.
Oh, I thought you were reversing your.
No. They have to go add a safety, like without question. Now the coverage has been good. Like Jalen's holding on to the ball, but I don't know. I think they definitely have to go get a safety. So Sidney Brown did get the first team reps today. While Makuba's out. The other observation I had before we get into a few of the more minute like odds and ends is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. had a really nice play today. So it was 11 on 11. It was in that red zone period. And Jalen tried to hit Goddard in the corner of the end zone on kind of a bit of like a fade route type thing. And Trotter got up, was right there with Goddard, and forced the incompletion. Goddard probably should have held on to it, but Trotter was right there and ultimately did make a pass breakup. So I think Jahad Campbell's going to start week 1. I just think when you're a first round pick, you're going to be out there. But Trotter's a good player. Like he makes plays every day that stand out. It's an unfortunate situation where he's just probably not going to be out there. But I do think Trotter has had a good camp, despite the fact, Campbell is going to overtake him.
Yeah. I mean, I think they physically even look so different out on the field. I just can't. Do you feel like they should just admit that Campbell's an edge and like?
Well, you know where I fall on this. Like I'm
just like, why are we delaying this?
But he's gonna play linebacker. But like he's going to play linebacker this year. I think he's gonna play linebacker. Yeah. And frankly, he looks good at it. Like I said, he looks like he can be a real disruptor. But no, I agree. Body wise, he definitely looks like an edge, and I think that's where, if I were him, that's where I would want to ultimately end up. You could make. Honestly, by the time he's contract eligible, if he's an elite edge, he could get like 150 million fully guaranteed. Whereas linebacker, you're not getting that type of money. But this year he will play linebacker, I think. Tucker, seemed like you had something you want to say.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Today was probably his best day at camp, I would say. And it
Trotter you're talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about Jahad Campbell.
Okay, yeah. No, I agree. Jahad was awesome. But go ahead.
But it came filling in for Zach Bond on the other side of the defense, right? Like usually it was Zach Bond on the left side, and him and Trotter were kind of splitting reps on the right side. And, when I walked out there, Smile Mondon was getting first team reps as well next to Trotter.
Okay.
But yeah,
I thought he was limited today, but I guess I must have missed that. He was out there for team reps. That's good.
Yeah, number 42 was out there for team reps.
Okay, cool.
With the first team at one point. But yeah, I just thought Jahad Campbell had by far his best day, and I thought it was interesting. It came in a role that he hasn't exactly been working at every day, on the other side of the defense.
So here's a question I hadn't considered. If you told Howie on the day after the Super Bowl ended that in Vic that they were going to be able to draft Jahad Campbell, do you think they re-sign Bond?
No.
Probably not, right?
No, I would imagine they draft an edge, right? Or they draft a defensive lineman to replace one of the guys they lost.
And they just go ahead with Trotter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do Trotter and Bond.
Maybe.
Or Trotter and Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant to say. Trotter.
Yeah, I had it backwards too. They have Trotter and Campbell, and then you use that money used on Bond for defensive line help.
But see, my first thought when they drafted Campbell was, oh, they're going to make him an edge. Like, okay, that's what they're going to use him for. Like it was, I think it was obvious. I mean, it's when you look at him, it's kind of obvious. And like, I think he's going to be a great player wherever they play him. It's just, I don't know. Like you already have linebackers who are good, if not great. So why not? But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I just thought of that, Beb. I actually do think they probably would not have re-signed him. But all right, that's something we'll have to consider. You guys can all think about as well. So, any other random odds and ends you guys thought from the day? Any other observations we didn't talk about? Anything?
I thought this one. So I know we talk a lot about safety. I'm really interested to see what plays out with the cornerback situation with Keely Ringo, Sidney Brown, and then you have Dory Jackson. And what Vic Fangio said about Jackson, he's like honest to a fault. I think
Dude, that
I
answer
love
was brutal. That
but
answer
I was like, I hope
yeah.
he's not listening to this.
Yeah.
Right
So
now.
go ahead and say it for those. We'll put it in the daily pod. But yeah, that was
So Vic
tough.
Fangio was asked about Dory Jackson, and it was like a series of like 2 or 3 questions, and basically is like, well, I mean, I don't really make the decision in terms of bringing, a guy like him in. That's Howie's decision, and he didn't work out in Tennessee. Like they chose to move on from him, and then New York chose to move on from him.
Yeah.
So now I guess we'll see how he does here.
I was floored
so
he
harsh.
said that. So I wasn't at Fangio because I was on the morning show, but I went back and watched before we did the pod. And like I was sitting there thinking if I was a Dory, I'd be like, yo, screw you, man. Like, what are you talking about? I got a huge deal to go to the Giants, number one. Like, I don't know. I appreciate honesty for sure, but I thought that was like borderline rude from him.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
when at listening live, I'm like, oh wow, he just like he doesn't hold back, and I appreciate the honesty, but sometimes it's like, wow, that was
Well,
hard.
he said something like it's time for Dory to show who
yeah.
he is or who he isn't. It's like,
Yeah.
what was that, bro? So what's crazy is Adoree has been getting more and more first team reps. I don't know if you guys agree. I don't track the reps, but to the naked eye, just being there, it feels like he's playing with the first team defense more than Keely. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes, I feel like I've seen him out there more than Keely.
I did think Keely played more with the first team today than he has the last couple days. Like day one, he was out there most of the time. And I thought he maybe had his best day, and he made the best play I've seen him make all camp. He broke up a nice screen pass late in the day.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought he had a good day. He had a good set of one-on-ones too. One-on-ones are so impossible for the cornerback, but I did think he had a really nice rep there today. So, Tucker, any final observations you want to go over?
Not really. I mean, we hit on most of it. Offense struggled in the red zone. They did do a lot of 5-man fronts again in those red zone drills when they brought in Thomas Booker. Now, I think that's probably just a placeholder until Jalen Carter's fully healthy and, rejoining them on a full-time basis. But I think it's interesting. They're still rolling with that kind of operation.
Yeah, and I do think part of the reason the offense is struggling, where I would push back on Cam saying we're still it's true they're still installing things, but I would agree that the defense does seem to be confusing them for sure. Like the defense seems to be doing a lot of intricate things. They're sending blitzes, and it's definitely throwing off the offense. But as we saw last year, the Eagles defense was arguably the best in the NFL. Now, obviously they've lost people, but I think the Eagles offense will be better for having gone through this. So as I said, the Eagles don't practice on Wednesday. They'll be back Thursday. We'll have a post-practice pod for you guys, obviously. On Thursday, we'll have the daily pod for you guys tomorrow. And then me and James, 10 a.m. tomorrow, back with doing Go Birds, kind of recapping the last 2 days. But Tucker said he had a final thought he was really excited for. We asked Devan to come up with a final thought about an hour ago. And I have one, of course. So I keep an entire folder of final thoughts. When me and my wife went to on our vacation to Portugal, we spent time on the airplane reading through them, and honestly, like, I think you can make a book of these. We were laughing so hard. But all right, should I go first or Tucker? You go first?
Well, I don't know. You
usually go first.
Okay, yeah, I'll go first. Okay, that's what James said. I always ask who should go first, and I should go first. All right, so when we were in Portugal, we were at our hotel, had a pool. And obviously, like, I wanted to lay outside and tan. Like, it was nice, it was sunny. Like, that's what we wanted to do. So we go out there. And let me tell you guys something. Like, I think it's ridiculous when kids get full adult chairs. Like, so we're out there and I'm sitting in the shade because all the ones in the sun are taken by kids that are not even using the chair. They're in the pool, but you could tell like their towel is on there. They're not out there to tan. They're not out there to enjoy the sun. They're there to enjoy the pool. I think you have to be 13 years or older to have a chair at the pool. Otherwise, like there can be kiddie chairs that we can put in between like them, but I thought it was absurd. Like you're in the pool, you're not even using the chair 80% of the time that you're out there. I think 13 and above to get a lounging chair at the pool should be the age.
I think you should be allowed to double up. Like 3 kids can have 1 chair.
Yeah, or 3 can share it. Or you should have to commit to being on the chair and not like playing Marco Polo in the pool for 4 hours.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Marco Polo is an awesome game though.
It is crazy in retrospect to think how often like kids would play that.
Do you think they still play it?
Swimming around the pool with their eyes closed.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like not a game that would end well. But
no.
Devan, any thoughts on that?
On yours or
on mine, yeah.
On
not
your,
Marco
I mean,
Polo, yeah.
I agree with you. I don't have kids, obviously.
Right.
And
other than Magic.
Magic is my child.
And Kingsley, exactly.
Well, so when I bring Magic on planes sometimes. He is a certified service animal.
Wow. Wait, how do you do that? Like, how do you make that happen?
I don't want to get in trouble by saying this on air,
right.
but I can
tell me off air then. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let me know.
So yeah, it's really just a piece of paperwork that you need. But my parents are in Florida for the winter, every winter. So we fly down there and I obviously need to bring my son Magic. He sits on my lap, but like my friends who have babies, I'm like, you have to purchase an entire airplane seat for your baby?
That is crazy. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. So we were flying from, I forget where, from where to where, one of our stops, 2 people brought dogs and they had to put them in the cargo underneath, like in these things. I can't believe that's safe. Like it must be, and I'm sure. Okay, but so Big Airplane online said that it is safe, but maybe that's not the case.
Well, I think it's like regulated because someone I knew was moving from like London back to the United States and they weren't allowed to fly with their dog because it was too hot. They wouldn't put their dog in cargo because it was too warm outside.
Well, that's
good that they regulate it.
Yeah.
I just would never do that's why my dog has like a service animal designation.
Your dog's also very little for what it's worth. Your dog's pretty little. Like these dogs were bigger. You could not have brought them on the plane. And you do have to transport your dog sometimes. But I just thought it was crazy. The dog must be terrified the entire time.
I have a quick story on that actually. So my family, when we were younger, we did put our dog, we had a bigger dog at the time, put her in cargo. We were flying to Park City, Utah. So like Salt Lake City, it's kind of a longish flight.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a nightmare. There's another dog down there with her. So we were like, okay, like this makes us feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that flight ended up like we crossed over like a lightning storm in Kansas and we had to make an emergency landing in South Dakota. Like she was terrified by the time they brought her out to us. But get this, the other dog got lost, like as if it was luggage, like they lost it, like the guys loading the plane. So I'm sorry, I will never ever put my dog in cargo ever since that experience.
But like, was the dog on the plane?
No, it got like they put it on the wrong flight.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, me and Kristen would freaking lose it.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a terrible story. I hope they found that dog. I mean, hopefully someone's taking care of that
I think she ended up getting it back. Like they sent it to like Florida or something. And then
that would be quite the lawsuit. I feel like it. Yeah. All right. Now your final thought.
Mine?
Yeah, you go ahead. You go.
Okay. Mine's kind of boring because I'm new to this.
Nice.
And I think it's kind of a hot take. Like, can we all just agree that summer is the most overrated season? Like, it's not fun. Does anyone enjoy this? You're outside feeling like you're going to pass out, feeling like you ran a marathon just from standing outside in this weather for like an hour. No one looks cute. Summer clothes are objectively way worse than fall and spring clothes.
Fact.
And even winter clothes. Winter, you just have a jacket on top, but they still look more fashionable.
Agreed.
It's unless you have a pool or a beach house, which I have neither. It's it's not fun. You can't go outside. You just have to sit in your AC, and God forbid your AC doesn't work or you don't have it.
Right.
It's not fun. I'm over it. I'm ready for fall.
So I would agree with you. First of all, I don't know if I've told you this, but I think like only like kids and tourists should wear shorts. Like I think shorts are like don't look good.
No, I agree.
Yeah, right. So I agree with you that I'd rather wear jeans and a jacket and a hoodie. Like for sure, it looks better, feels more comfortable. Now, what I would say is, I do think that the things you do in the summer are pretty fun. So that would be my counter. But the weather, I'm definitely over it. I would agree.
But what things do you do in the summer?
I mean,
like, give me an example.
Well, like vacations. I would say most people vacation in the summer. I guess I'm probably still tying this to when I was a kid and you didn't have school. Like that's part of it. And like pools are awesome when they're good. Now, people don't go to pools as much as they think. I think you think you're going to the pool a lot, but you don't actually go to the pool a lot.
Exactly.
So I feel like there's just a more laid back vibe in the summer would mostly be what I would say. It feels like everybody's off. Even if you're working, it just feels like no one's seriously doing work for the months of like June and July.
I will agree with that. It does have a very like overall relaxed feel, and vacation is great, but otherwise like parties in the summer, if someone's having an outdoor barbecue and it's hot out, that's not even fun to me.
Agreed with that. The whole time. Tucker, any thoughts on the summer?
Yeah, I agree. It's too hot. Like I like going to the beach. I like going to the pool, but like I like when it's 60 and not 97. Mm-hmm. Like I'm wearing a hoodie right now. I much prefer this. I'm very comfortable.
One more point, the sun sets way too late. I'm sorry. Like
I agree.
I do not enjoy the sun still being out at 8 p.m. I want to be cozy and be able to, be on my sofa without feeling guilt that the sun is still out and I should be outside enjoying the day.
1,000% agree. I always, when it's like 7 o'clock and the sun's up for another hour and a half, I'm like, relax. Like my day's over. Like I don't need this sunshine anymore. So quick side note too, because I know you guys have talked on air about, what you set your AC at in the house. Okay. I'm almost embarrassed to say this on the air.
What?
My parents just got central air installed in their house. Guess what they set it to?
74.
Wow, that's exactly what they set it to. Did I tell you that?
No, but my parents got AC when I was in college. Like we didn't have air conditioning growing up, and my dad has always set it at 74.
Like, what's the point of even having it at that step? We set it at 67 or 68 in our house, so we keep it cool. Like, because I like to wear a hoodie as well. 74 is insane.
74 is insane, but I also feel like older people, like we were at my boyfriend's grandparents' house on Sunday, and they basically like they had AC, but like it was like 80 degrees. Like I feel like older people get colder easier. Like my dad.
Like that episode.
Old people love an open window. Old people love just opening a window and thinking that's the same.
I don't know. Maybe because AC wasn't like as popular when they were growing up, so
they're just probably used to being hotter, maybe. Yeah. So like 74 feels good to them, whereas for me, I would be like, I'm not paying an electric bill for 74. All right, Tucker, your final thought.
So mine's also about the heat, and it's about someone we work with.
Okay.
For a man who comes from the desert, who grew up in the desert, who's from Arizona, Rod Lakin can't manage the heat like at all. Like he's so bad when it's hot outside. Like me and him at a meeting yesterday, we were in the air conditioned RV. He was like dripping sweat. Like he couldn't handle how hot it was in there. And like you're from the desert. Like I get it's different here. And when I ask him about it, he goes, well, it's humid, it's different. But it's just unbelievable, this guy who spent the first 40 years of his life living in a desert, and he comes here and he can't handle a Northeast summer.
So I heard he had blue jeans on today. Is that correct?
Yeah, he had jeans and a t-shirt. That's another thing. Like I've never seen him wear shorts. I'd like to know what his legs look like because I've never seen him wear shorts.
So I will say from a business setting, I can see his point on that. Like if I was Rod, I don't know if I would feel comfortable wearing shorts because like we are partners with the Eagles. It's kind of a professional setting, but blue jeans are rough. Like blue jeans are pretty hot. I feel like you could go with a more khaki golfish type to get over.
You can find a breathable pants.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think khaki are tough to wear, but regardless, we can get into that another day. But yeah, Rod not handling the heat well. I mean, some other people had on like long pants at practice today too, which is crazy to me.
Eliot, like I agree with your take though about short. Like I feel I know it's different for women and men too, but like I feel weird wearing shorts, and I feel like, and respectfully, like you both look great in shorts, but I will say as an overall just general statement, like I don't know a single man that I'm like, oh, they look
100%.
better in shorts than pants. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%. And also, let's just call it what it is. Like, I'm an average size white male. Like, I'm just not meant for shorts. Like, I don't like John Clark. John Clark can wear shorts. John Clark is tall and has long legs. Like, he can wear shorts. It's just not. It's not for me. Like, so that's why I would go back to once the fall comes and I can wear pants and like boots and stuff. Like,
So
it's
much
all
better.
Amen.
Yeah.
So glad we got to that on day 5 of training camp. Lots of good football talk today. But as I said, first of all, Devan, thank you for coming on. Very much appreciate it. Oh no, she just cut out right now. Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh no.
Yeah.
I said this was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We'll have to do this again since the 3 of us are the ones who are at practice. And Tucky, as always, thank you for being on.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, so we'll be back Wednesday at 10 a.m. with James. Until then, he's Eliot. I'm James. Talk to you guys later.